So here's part one of Xspot. First off, just wanted to say, make sure when you motion over Thielen, you motion him over all the way as far as you can. And you're going to get an interaction with the safety that gives you this easy one-play touchdown against cover 3. Basically, all we're doing is we're streaking our outside bunch. We're streaking our tight end. We're going to drag this inside bunch, Thielen, and then we're going to block our running back. And when we motion him over, here I'm going to show an example of if you don't motion him fully over, it's so much tighter of a throw. Your opponent can potentially click on. I don't feel comfortable throwing this. It is going to be a touchdown here. I think online you can click on and probably make a play on that. If you motion him all the way, it's going to be a one-play touchdown naked. Now, this doesn't always beat cover 3. It's definitely a read you need to make. Certain cover 3s, like cover 3 cloud, and sometimes certain baseline cover 3s, it will not beat. Here's an example where I throw up the seam just to show you how good this seam route is to Rudolph. But yeah, it's a very simple setup, very easy, and we're going to be able to beat essentially every coverage with it still. Now, is this my go-to play to beat every coverage? No. This is where I think you're in cover 3, I want to bomb you. That's what my mindset is, and I'm going to do that. Now, I can still throw to Y, even though it man matches on that Y route on that corner. It's pretty tight. Normally, you won't be able to online, to be honest. If they're in cover 3, you're pretty much going to have to hit X all the way over the top or hit Rudolph on the streak. You can maybe check down to Thielen, but, might as well take your yards while they're there. So here's an example where I don't motion over. It still does beat it, but again, that's super tight. We want it to be as naked as we can get it. So that's why we're motioning over Thielen on that drag, to be able to bring that safety over, and it essentially like unbase aligns their cover 3. I personally think that's definitely the best way to go about it. The streak on Rudolph also helps it, but here we're going to face a different coverage. I believe it's going to be cover 2. It is. I'm going to show you that I can get Y over a cloud. You need to be really patient with it. I got a terrible animation. It's probably inbounds. It was really close, but you're normally going to get a better animation than that. You can get it over a cloud against Tampa 2. It's going to be hard. You need a perfect pass lead. It needs to be timed very well. You need to get really good at throwing this corner out to do it. I would recommend just checking down or throwing up the seam to Rudolph. If you see they're in cover 2, if you're not comfortable throwing this ball, that's okay. It's a hard ball to fit in back there. They cannot pick that. They cannot play that, but it's tough. You're going to need it well-timed and a perfect pass lead, pretty much straight up, to be able to get it over that cloud. Probably like an 11 o'clock pass lead if we're talking like a clock. That's what it would be. Now, I believe we're going to face cover 4 here. Nope, still cover 2. And I'm going to show that we can fit it up the seam to Rudolph. There is a mid-read there. Again, your opponent's user is going to be on the mid-read. When's a mid-read ever going to be on the field? So if that's a read that you think's open, you can throw that. Seams are really powerful. Deep blues do not play seams. They're not going to come down on them. You just need to get it past the yellows, and you're pretty much good. I don't throw it tons. Normally, again, I'm in this play because I know they're in cover 3, and I'm going to torch you. So here's an example of, they're in cover 4, so I'm just going to check down to Thielen and take my yards. You can occasionally fit in the corner route over cover 4. If it was short side, you would be able to all the time. But since we're still running bunch wide side, because we're trying to beat cover 3 here, and to stay uniform relatively with everything else, it's going to be a little bit. So there's an example of me fitting it in, and just notice how tight of a pocket that is. Is it going to be picked? No, but is it going to be completed every time? Probably not. So yeah, I love Xspot. I think it's one of my favorite plays in bunch tight end because of my ability to beat cover 3 and get people really uncomfortable on defense. And people are going to say like, oh, just deep half that side. Here's a perfect example actually of it. Torching cover 4. That was a lot more naked, but people will say, oh, just deep third or deep half that side, or that side's corner, so then you don't get cover 3 beaten. Well, I can throw the corner out very easily then. That deep third is the reason why I can't throw the corner out against cover 3. So this play is so good. Highly recommend that you get in the lab and practice throwing this ball to Diggs. There I have to check down because Tridewell's bumping like crazy against this cover 4. But practice throwing this ball to Diggs. I'm pass leading basically straight outside. On a clock, kind of like a 9, 10 o'clock pass lead here is what we're doing. And then here I show, just for example, that we can beat man coverage with it. And again, if you're, think Y is going to beat man here. It's a decent man beating route. If they do shade outside, it's going to be bagged. It won't be picked very often, but if they are in man, you can use it. I like putting a drag or a zig particularly, or a route specialist post out on the field if I do know they're in man coverage. Again, I went over that in beating cover 0, but just wanted to show if you do get caught off guard by man coverage, you can still beat it with the Y route. So just showing a few options here that you can do. I could put him on a zig and motion him over. Same thing, same interaction, where if it's cover 3, it's still going to beat it. And then I do have a man-beating zig on the wide side of the field and a lot of room to work if we do get a completion, maybe a missed tackle. So anyways, that is Xspot. Stock setup, just streaking that outside bunch, streaking tight end, motioning over a drag on Thielen and blocking that running back. And we're going to be able to beat cover 3 deep pretty much every time. Really naked, easy, one-play touchdown. You guys see me do that all the time online. People have wanted this setup. Here it is. It's Xspot.